Hello everyone and welcome to our 17th lesson for the ESL Online program for the Literacy Council. I hope that you had a wonderful Thanksgiving and I hope that you are ready for the Christmas season. I myself am not, but here it is. Hola a todos y bienvenidos a nuestra lección número 17 por parte del Literacy Council. Espero que pasaron un buenísimo Día de Acción de Gracias y que estén listos ya para la Navidad. Yo todavía no estoy lista, pero bueno, no nos queda de otra. A comenzar la lección. Alright, before we do the reading for today, let's look at some of the vocabulary that we will look for during the article and that we'll go over in some of the activities, okay? Number 1, plenty. Number 2, bemuse. Number 3, bewilderment. Number 4, erected. Number 5, native. Number 6, addition. Number 7, preference. Number 8, fatal. Number 9, perpetuated. Number 10, obsession. Number 11, poses. Number 12, invariably. Number 13, vulnerable. And number 14, pneumonia. All right, let's read the article. So for the article for this week, I thought we would do something lighthearted to help any of you and myself with the stress. This article is titled Car Licking Moose Causing Problems in Canada. Let's start. There are plenty of road signs around the world that amuse and bemuse motorists. The latest to raise smiles and possibly a sense of bewilderment are in Canada. Transport authorities in the town of Jasper, Alberta, have erected electronic signs to warn drivers not to let moose lick their cars. Moose are the largest and heaviest members of the deer family and are native to Canada. They are a frequent sight on Canadian roads, but an addiction to salt has led them to sate their need by licking cars. Vehicles are splashed with road salt that has been sprinkled on the road to help melt snow. It is common to see moose licking salt on the roads, but they have now developed a preference for licking it off cars. A Jasper National Park spokesperson explained why the salt licking was a problem. He warned that the moose's addiction is becoming an increasing problem and could be fatal. He said, "This behavior started as an occasional issue a few years ago and is now too common. People are getting far too close, and it's perpetuated by the moose's obsession with salt." A tour operator said, "I hate to say it, but this road salt is kind of like a drug to the moose. The salt habit possesses additional dangers for the moose. Cars are invariably covered with a whole host of harmful chemicals. In addition, moose are vulnerable to pneumonia. Licking car surfaces could increase the risk of spreading disease." Wow, I wasn't sure I would ever read something like that. Anyways, let's go over the vocabulary and then we will touch a little bit more about some of the things in the article. All right, let's go over the vocabulary matching. Paragraph 1, number 1, plenty is F, a large or sufficient amount or quantity, more than enough. Number 2, bemuse is A, confuse or make someone puzzled. Number 3, bewilderment is D, a feeling of being perplexed or confused. Number 4, erected is built or construct a building, wall, or other upright structure. Number 5, native is G, an animal or plant indigenous, originally belonging to a place. Number 6, addiction, the fact or condition of being addicted to a particular substance, thing, or activity. Number 7, preference is C, a greater liking for one alternative over another or others. Paragraph 2. 8. fatal is M, causing death. Number 9, perpetuated is H, made something, usually an undesirable situation, continue indefinitely. Number 10, obsession is I, the state of one's mind being with thoughts of someone or something to a worrying extent. Number 11, poses is L, presents or constitutes a problem, danger, or difficulty. Number 12, invariably, is K, in every case or on every occasion, always. Number 13, vulnerable, is N, susceptible to physical or emotional attack or harm. And number 14, pneumonia, is J, a lung inflammation caused by bacterial or viral infection in which the lungs are filled with liquid. So go over those. Hopefully you were able to pick them out from the story, reread the story, and then see if it makes a little bit more sense once you have figured out what the words mean. All right, let's go on. All right, let's read a little bit about moose, the animal that the article is about. This is the National Wildlife Federation website, so if you want to go back and peruse a little bit further in detail, you can. So the word moose is going to be singular and plural. So you're not going to add an S, you're not going to make it a double E like geese. It's just going to be one moose or 10 moose. Okay. Moose are the largest members of the deer family, standing 6 feet, 1.8 meters tall from hoof to shoulder. So hoof is going to be the bottom of their foot, basically, and weighing in at more than 1,000 pounds, 450 kilograms. Each of their light to dark brown hairs is hollow, and the air trapped inside provides insulation. So insulation, it just means that it keeps them warm, just like the insulation of a house traps the heat. The flap of skin called the dewlap hangs from the throat. Males are distinguished from females by their antlers, which grow up to 6 feet across. Now, just imagine how tall and how long 6 feet is. That is pretty huge. So I don't know that I would want to come upon one at a close range. They are found in the northern regions of the United States, from Maine to Washington, throughout Canada, and into Alaska. Due to their large size and insulating fur, moose are limited to cold climates. Forested areas with streams and ponds are ideal moose habitat. Let's see, they're herbivores. That means they don't eat meat. Moose are so tall that they have difficulty bending down to eat grass, so they prefer to feed on leaves, bark, and twigs from trees and shrubs. Male moose are called bulls, and they begin to grow antlers in the springtime to prepare for the autumn mating season. Large mature bulls with well-developed antlers usually get to mate with a female moose called cows. The young calves stay with their mother for a year before venturing off to live a solitary lifestyle. Moose can live more than 20 years in the wild, but many begin to suffer the symptoms of old age before then. A more typical lifespan is 10 to 12 years. So let's look at some fun facts here. Male moose grow a set of antlers each year during the spring and summer. By fall, antlers can span 6 feet from tip to tip. So that is a lot of growing in the span of 1 year. Number 2, though males lack antlers, they aggressively protect their babies with powerful kicks that can break bones or even kill predators. So as we know from the mama bears around here, you do not want to get near any female animal that has babies. 3, moose are browsers, feeding on leaves and twigs of trees and shrubs, primarily willow, birch, and poplar. 4, moose are excellent swimmers, able to hold their breath underwater for 30 seconds, which is probably longer than I can hold my breath underwater. And 5, despite their large size, moose can run over 35 miles per hour. Wow, that is crazy. Can you just imagine a 1,000-pound animal running behind you or running behind your car? I would probably die of a heart attack. All right, so let's go on to the next tidbit about Canada. Okay, before we talk a little bit about Canada, I just wanted to show you a small part of this video, which you can see what a moose licking your car would look like. And if that was my car, I would probably freak out. And the other thing that I'm not sure about is how you stop the moose from licking your car. Are you supposed to honk your horn? Are you supposed to drive away? I mean, I would imagine anybody that has a 1,000-pound animal beside them probably gets pretty nervous and does not know what to do. But they do have those signs. So here is a picture of the sign that they were talking about in the article. Do not let moose lick your car. So anyways, if you're planning a trip to Canada anytime soon, which you can't because Canada is not letting anybody into the country right now, just know not to let moose lick your car. Alrighty, so where is Canada? As you can see, it is part of North America, and you can see exactly how large of a country it is. As I don't know if I've stated it, probably not. It is the second largest country in the world behind Russia. So let's look at Russia. Here's Russia, and here is China. So China looks pretty small compared to Russia and to Canada. And Greenland actually looks ginormous, but it's not that big. It's just how it looks on the flat map. So it is divided into 10 provinces and 3 territories. So a province would be basically the equivalent to a US state. They have one province of Quebec where people speak predominantly French, but English and French are the most common languages spoken in Canada. So if you're planning on going up there, brush up on your Francais. Anyway, so you can see how big it is. Alaska is pretty big, you know, it's a pretty big part of the US. If you look at it in terms of size, and the continental US, it's probably about half the size of the continental US. And when I say continental, I'm meaning this part right here. So Alaska and Hawaii down here are not part of what we would consider the continental US. But you can see just exactly how ginormous it is, and you can see all of this coastline right here. All of this is considered coastline. It only borders the US, but it is close to Greenland over here, which you can see is pretty icy. And then Iceland is pretty, here's Iceland, is pretty green. So they probably did that on purpose to confuse people. Anyways, let's look at some pictures. This is probably the most popular park in Canada for outside people, and it's the Banff National Park. It is absolutely stunning. Here is a picture of Niagara Falls, and part of Niagara Falls is in the US and part of Niagara Falls is in Canada. I have never been to Niagara Falls, but it is on my bucket list, as is the Banff National Park. This here is Ontario. Here we have Vancouver, and Vancouver is near Seattle, actually. It is on the very western coast of the country, right on the Pacific. And the capital of Canada is actually Ottawa. So that's the equivalent of what our Washington, D.C. would be. Okay, so let's look at some facts on Canada. All right, so let's look at a few interesting facts about Canada. This one is actually from a Kids World Travel Guide.com website, but I thought it just gave us a few quick facts to kind of get an overview of Canada. So here we see the Canadian flag. It has a maple leaf at the center, and Canada is a large producer of maple syrup. And if you've never had maple syrup on your pancakes, now this is the real maple syrup, not the stuff that you buy at the store that just has sugar in it. Maple syrup has a very distinct taste, and it is delicious, and I do not like anything else on my pancakes since I've had actual maple syrup. So as we stated, it is a huge country. It is the largest country in the Western Hemisphere and the second largest country behind Russia. It has the longest coastline in the world with 125,567 miles. Now, I have had my car for 5 years, and I have not driven even 100,000 miles on it yet. So if I had been driving the same amount that I drove these 5 years, I would not have covered the whole Canadian coastline, which is crazy. And you thought that Minnesota or Finland had a lot of lakes? Well, Canada has a lot more. More than half of all the lakes in the world are located in Canada. The country counts more than 3 million lakes and 31,700 big lakes, with an area of over 300 hectares. Canada also includes 2 of the biggest lakes in the world, Great Bear Lake and Great Slave Lake. So that is pretty big. Now, the Caspian Sea would probably be considered the greatest lake by surface area, and then Lake Baikal in Russia is the largest lake by volume because it's the deepest lake in the world. But still, that's pretty crazy, all those lakes in Canada. Toronto is the largest city. Montreal is the second largest city, and also the second largest city in the world that has a French-speaking population after Paris, France. So that's pretty crazy. And Montreal, of course, is located in Quebec, which is the province that we stated earlier where they speak predominantly French. Most of Canadians are going to live along the US border. So 90% actually. So that's pretty, that means the rest of Canada is virtually empty. So more opportunities to run into moose. Let's see here. The highest mountain is Mount Logan at 19,551 feet. So let's look at where Mount Logan is. It is right along the Alaska Yukon Territory border. I'll zoom out a little bit. You can see, so it's looks like it's pretty much all the time covered in snow. Here is a beautiful picture of Mount Logan. I would only like to see it from afar and not actually try to climb it. Anyways, back to our facts. The literacy rate in Canada is almost 99%, and that is crazy. If you think of 100 people being in the room and 99 of them being able to read and write, that is pretty amazing, and I wish we had that here in the US. And of course, the Literacy Council is here in our community to help. The national holiday is called Canada Day, and it is celebrated July 1st. The most popular countries for travel for Canadians are the US, Mexico, and Cuba. So that's pretty interesting. There are more than 2,800 hockey rinks in Canada, which makes sense because it is very cold most of the time. Anyways, please look up some facts about Canada on your own. It is a fascinating country, a beautiful country, and Canadians, in my opinion, of the ones that I have talked to and encountered, are very, very nice. They are, in fact, sometimes referred to as the nicest people in the world. All right, let's go on to our next activity. So for this part, I want you to put it on pause and then try to do the true and false and the synonym match on your own. A synonym is a word that has the same or similar meaning to another word. So try to do these on your own. And at the very end, I'm going to post the answers to these two activities, as well as post the multiple choice and the answers to the multiple choice. All right, everyone, that is a wrap for today's lesson. I hope that you learned something new, maybe a new vocabulary word, or to not let moose lick your car if you're ever in Canada. I hope that you have a wonderful weekend, and we'll see you back here next week.